Because this guy is loving and kind and compassionate, it must mean that he's weak. But people are so mistaken. Self compassion is your greatest strength. When you practice self compassion, because it is a practice, it's a muscle that you build. You develop a deep level of love for yourself. You stop compromising in your life. You stop settling. You stop questioning yourself. You limit how much you doubt yourself. I don't want to say you stop doubting yourself, because we're only human beings doing our best. But we do better. The more you practice self compassion, the more you take care of yourself. And it's just how it's always been, right? The more you practice something, the better you get. And the more you practice self compassion, the better you get at being kinder to yourself. So first of all, let me for anyone that doesn't know, forgive me if you do, let me tell you the difference between compassion and empathy. Empathy is feeling for someone, understanding someone, understanding where they are at. Empathy is understanding without judgment. You can't be empathetic towards someone. Oopsie, I'm losing cellular connection. Give me a second. You can't be empathetic towards someone and judge them at the same time. I mean, come on. Some things are just common sense. But empathy is just feeling. You don't have to do anything to feel empathy for yourself or for someone else. It just means that you feel. You feel, number one, you feel something. Number two, you understand. And number three, you don't judge. That's empathy. You're not going to find that on ChatGPT or in a dictionary or something like that. That's just my words for what empathy is. Compassion, same, but different. Compassion is empathy in action. If you are not doing something to better the circumstances, to help the person, to help yourself, to remove or alleviate suffering, to change something for the better, that is not compassion. That is just empathy. If you say, "Oh, I'm very compassionate. I care about animals," but you don't do anything to alleviate suffering for animals, or you don't rescue kittens, or you don't show love to your dogs that were rescued from the street, you get what I'm saying here. You can't be compassionate without action. And this is why self-compassion is your greatest strength. Because if you truly loved yourself wholly, unconditionally, and when you do, because it's possible for all of us, because it's how we came into this world, you would do what you want, say what you want, be who you want. You'd be non-negotiable. You would not do things that harm you. You would not compromise or settle in your life. You would remove things that don't serve you. You wouldn't have bad habits, vices. If you loved yourself wholly and unconditionally, you wouldn't allow fear, regret, scarcity, lack, shame, and guilt even exist in your life. But the reason we allow those things to exist in our life is because parts of ourselves don't love ourselves. Beautiful Samira, thank you so much. Glad you agree. So, I have been practicing self-compassion for a long time because I grew up in a world that my parents doing their very best, as we all are doing in life. I felt that the world was unfair growing up. I felt that life was unfair. Specifically, I felt that my life was unfair. Why was I handed this life when all of my friends had what they had? when they had the parents, the support, the money, the holidays, etc. Why did girls like them, not me? Why were my friends more talented than me? Why were they more confident than me? It all started from a very, very young age. So I tried to become someone else. I became the center of attention through practicing how to get people's attention. I thought I was a failure by my view and perception of what failure and success was. And by not having things making me a failure, I thought success must mean having. But I still didn't love myself. I still didn't accept myself. I still didn't approve of myself. So I chased success. And by the age of 23, I was a full-time DJ, all the attention on me, literally the center of attention, receiving attention from guys, girls, men, women, getting drugs, alcohol, cigarettes, VIP treatment wherever I went when I was DJing. Not generally in life every day. I was a small-time DJ. But I still lacked that self-compassion to align myself to things that were actually in alignment with loving myself. But luckily for me, I've always had a deep level of awareness and I've always questioned everything. And I thought at the age of 23, if I keep practicing what I'm practicing and chasing success on the outside, yet feeling so empty, like something is missing on the inside, wow, isn't that similar to how my father lived his life? Success, woman, partying, attention, drugs, yachts. And then my father took his life. I was like, I don't even want to question if that's where I'm heading. I want to change now. And I had a love for myself enough to want to change. I had enough love for myself already then at the age of 23 to want to change. And that's what self-compassion is. Yes, self-compassion is being kinder to yourself. Self-compassion is talking to yourself in a more loving, kind way. Self-compassion is studying. Self-compassion is doing what you love. Self-compassion is so many things, but self-compassion starts with wanting to change. So if you already believe or feel or know that you want to change something about your life in a way that it would bring you more peace, happiness, joy, fulfillment, and harmony, welcome to the game of self-compassion. And when you live in self-compassion, your life becomes a practice towards returning home to love. To come back to empathy. Empathy is feeling sorry for or feeling someone's pain, feeling someone's suffering, understanding where someone is at. I understand you and I don't judge you. Empathy towards yourself is I feel your pain, JP. I feel your suffering. I understand what you are going through. That's empathy. Compassion is what the fuck are we going to do about it? In a most loving, kind, and compassionate way. What are we going to do to get out of this suffering? That is what compassion is. It is a call to action, a call to rise, a call to get out of your suffering. Any suffering or pain that exists in your life, if you build and strengthen your compassion muscles, you will get stronger and stronger and stronger and not settling for any kind of pain or suffering in your business, your relationship, your life, your emotions, your mindset, etc., your environment. You just won't accept it. Because like building muscle in the gym, the more you build your compassion muscle, the stronger it gets. And when you have strong compassion muscles, once again, what is compassion? It's for the want of not suffering. It's what compassion is for the want of alleviating pain, for the want of removing pain and suffering, for the want of helping, guiding, pushing, motivating, inspiring, whatever you can do because you feel empathy for that person to help them, to help them to rise, to help them to come home, to help them to be better, to help them to feel love. And when you put that into action on yourself, you become the person that is always being served. So, how do you practice self compassion? Journal your thoughts, get it out of your head, because in your mind, it causes suffering. Get the devil out of your mind and put it on paper. Hey, Jane, nice to see you. I love your, what's it called? Profile picture. Hey, Kyle. Hey, everyone that's watching live. Hey, Mikey. First Law, Sunshine. Oopsie. I really wish that my alarms weren't going off now. Uh, Last year, like the last 5 years, over 700,000 people chose to unalive themselves, to end their life, to remove themselves from the one life that they're gifted, physical life, or this one physical life that they've been gifted. Why? Because they didn't know how to practice compassion. And yes, you can say, yes, but there's people have diseases and they have depression and they have trauma. Yeah, but if you practice something, you become better at something, you become stronger at something. And it's not about trying to achieve something. Wholeness, being healed, being untraumatized, being unlimited in the way you think about yourself, being kind, loving, compassionate, not being horrible to yourself, not talking to yourself in a destructive way, not having destructive behaviors in your life, habits, vices, not living in regret, shame, guilt, suffering. This is not about getting to a place that you've never been in your life. Fuck. All of us came into this world exactly like that. I keep having internet issues here, so I keep saying that my connection is being paused. I do apologize in advance. You're so welcome, Art Catcher. Please understand this, that if you're going through a tough time and you're giving yourself a hard time because of business, because of you're living in fear, because of AI, because you've been through a divorce, because you've lost your child, because you've lost some, as in you've lost custody of your child, or you've lost someone in life because of bereavement, or you're just in a phase in your life and an age in your life where you're questioning yourself and doubting yourself, please know this, that getting to a whole, healed, loving, kind, compassionate, joyful, grateful, fulfilled, peaceful, present version of you. Imagine that. It's not trying to get to some magical fucking place that you think, oh, that is just not possible. I'm so wounded. I'm so stuck in the performance prison. I'm so stressed. I'm so anxious. I'm so living in fear because of the economy, because of my business, because of needing to protect people. Wherever you are, you're not trying to get to some magical place. All of us were born into love. Even if you were a mistake for some reason, you came into this world, and inside you as a baby, fear didn't exist. Self-harm didn't exist. Self-criticism didn't exist. You didn't put yourself down as a kid, as a baby. You weren't destructive in your behaviors. You didn't ruminate in the past that it stole the joy of your present. You didn't live your life morning to night in fear of the fucking future. You never did any of the shit that causes suffering today. You just were. So, to get back to that place of just being at peace with the way life is presenting itself to you, finding joy in that life, the way it is being presented to you, finding and choosing to make happiness, regardless, happiness is an internal state, regardless of the external circumstances, and choosing to do play like a kid, to do things in life that bring you fulfillment. Like it feels something doing these things. This is about just getting back to yourself. How do you do that? It's not some wishy-washy woo-woo. It's you need to do the work to bring yourself back to love. You need to get out of the performance prison that keeps you stuck in the suffering of your mind, but your mind are the gates, the bars of the prison. The bars of the prison that you are living in is your own fucking mind. It's the way you think about others. It's the way you think about me that's causing you suffering. It's the way you think about your partner, the way you think about your haters, the way you think about your job, the way you think about the world, the way you think about AI, the way you think about blah, 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 blah. It's your thoughts that are creating the prison. And the warden keeping you stuck in the prison is fear. You're afraid. So you keep keeping yourself, you keep keeping yourself in the prison because you don't know how to get out. And how you get out is through love. And that sounds wishy-washy, woo-woo, spiritual nonsense to a lot of people, but it's not. It's practice. How you become strong in the gym is you have to go to the fucking gym every day or as often as you can and eat enough protein and chase the 11th rep and have a strong reason to not give up in the gym and keep going and not slack and not negotiate and not be negotiable. But you keep showing up because you have the vision in mind for your body. It's the same shit, but it's spiritual work, not physical. So how do you bring yourself to a place of love where you give yourself permission to actually start enjoying your life and not chasing and running towards and running away from? Is self-compassion. How do you practice self-compassion? Here's a few of many ways. Meditate. David, live your version of a simple life. Sammy, it's a good one. Number one, meditate. Very simply put, you can justify it however you want. You can say you're too busy to meditate. Your family won't allow you time to meditate. You don't find the benefit in meditation. You are just in a pretty prison. Your prison looks beautiful. Your prison looks beautiful, but it's still a fucking prison. Because how can you say that you are truly free, truly happy, truly at peace with the man that you're sitting in front of if you're looking into the mirror, if you can't even have a meeting with that person? You can't have a meeting with him. You can't have a meeting with her. Are you that delusional? Are you that ignorant? Are you that avoidant to believe or pretend that you are happy with your life, at peace with the man or woman that you've become and are becoming, if you can't even have a meeting with yourself? The first path to self-love, the first path to freeing yourself from fear, the first path to returning back to how you came into this world without judgment, without fear, lack, scarcity, guilt, regret, shame, is to sit with yourself. Like Buddha said, don't take my word for it, try it for yourself. Go meditate for 30 days, 45 days, 90 days. But not with some person talking into your ears and chatting and breathe in, breathe out. Sit with yourself. Sit wherever you are. Close your eyes and sit and see what comes up. No noise, no headphones. If anything, you can use headphones just for noise cancellation, but no music. It's called Vipassana meditation, sitting with yourself, sitting in silence, sitting with your breath, starting with your breath, and then seeing what comes up as a result of that. You will find out a lot about yourself when you just sit with yourself. Oh, man. I hope the sound is so good. We had a sound issue yesterday on Facebook. I apologize for that. I must have gone live for about an hour and there was no sound. I don't know how I got 5 likes on the video. There was no sound, but let's hope that it's better today. Of course, I'm live again across multiple platforms. I really want to. I've said myself, if you know me, you know I love setting challenges. I'm 44. I can't do a lot of the challenges that I used to do physically. Uh, I'm still keep going, but I thought, what could I do that is a endurance challenge this year that is also practicing self-compassion, very much in alignment with what I'm saying. I thought I'm going to do an ultra marathon year of live streaming. And I've gone live in the last 4 days, probably than I have done in terms of duration, probably more than I have done in the whole of 2025. So here's looking onwards. And I'm really enjoying it. There's no agenda. There's no, I'm not coming here with a script or bullet points. I just wanted to connect the people. We live in a world where people are starving for connection. And like I shared before, almost 750,000 people chose to unalive themselves this year and have done for the last 5 years. Over 700,000 people chose to not be here and chose to end their life because of suffering. And I just know that we create our own suffering. And I know that we can remove our own suffering because I've been studying it for 20 years. So I've made it my obligation to fight in the ring, to fight as an athlete, as I pray with my feet, to fight with my voice and my truth, to fight for people that are suffering. And at the same time, it doesn't mean that I'm just, talking to people that are suicidal, etc. I've worked with a lot of people in my life. I was a coach, a high performance coach, worked with Tony Robbins, etc. I've worked with a lot of people that were very successful that should not have been so fucking miserable. But the problem is when you tell yourself you'll be happier when you have the things that you thought would make you happier, you're even more unhappy because now you put the opposite of self-compassion. You're cruel to yourself, you bully yourself, you're destructive towards yourself because you say, I have the wife, I have the husband, I have the house, I have the family, I have the cars, I have the job, I have the money. Why am I so fucking miserable? So it's not just that I'm helping people that are just in a bad place in life in terms of like trying to get their life on track. No, there's suffering at all levels of life and success. Suffering exists. Why? Because suffering is not based on what you have or don't have on the outside. All of suffering has to do with what is going on inside your mind. TikTok D, I feel I will be happier to live in the middle of nowhere, away from nasty neighbors. I mean, your environment definitely is a big contributing factor towards your happiness. You can also treat that as an opportunity to practice compassion towards others. I fell in love with someone. I had a child with that person, and very quickly that love dissolved into a lot of anger. And I had two choices because I am my own practitioner of self-compassion and also of compassion towards others. I had two choices. Hate, anger, or feel compassion towards this person that they're just doing their best. I still removed myself from the situation and did the hardest thing I've ever done in my whole life, moved out of the house that my daughter was born into, not meaning that I can't sleep next to her, put her to sleep, wake her up in the morning. I mean, I'm 5 minutes from her house, but that was the hardest decision I ever made. But you know how many people I've worked with, spoken to, how many people have told me their own stories of their life, that they're in relationships that are just destroying them spiritually. And as a result, they've stopped chasing their dreams. They're neglecting their health. They, drink a bottle of Jack Daniels every night or a bottle of wine every night just because they don't have the courage to leave the relationship that they know is not for them because of fear. What will they think? What will my kids think? What'll people on social media think? What'll my family think? What will my friends think? Fuck that. What do you think? What do you think about the way you are choosing to live your life? It's not very inspiring, is it? If you loved yourself, If you truly loved yourself and you were healed and whole, you would never settle and you would never compromise, and you would understand that love comes without conditions. If people choose to judge you, people that loved you, if you then make a decision and they choose to turn that love into judgment, that's not real love. That's conditional love. They're conveniently loving you because it suits them. But people that love you, truly love you as you are. When I was married before, living in the UK, I told my wife, if you like, at one point I said to her, when it started going, we were married 6 years, after about 4 years, we started questioning it. And I said, if you leave, like, I'll understand. I'll understand. Obviously, I'll be hurt, but I'll understand. That's love. Love is loving someone without expectations. Anyway, I went off track here. I need to pick my daughter up, but thank you for your voice and your words. Stay blessed, my friend. Thank you so much. Go pick your daughter up and give her a huge hug. Look her in the eyes and tell her how amazing and perfect she is, because that'll stay with her forever. When I look at my daughter's only 2. And I tell her, when I look at her, I tell her, you're the best. You're the greatest. That's compassion. Loving words is compassion or empathy in action. Compassion is a practice. And one of the ways, like meditation, one of the ways to practice compassion is through positive verbal reinforcement, positive verbal persuasion. If you're negative towards yourself, you do not love yourself. Oh, but I'm going through pressure. I don't give a fuck. You wouldn't talk to your child that way. If you wouldn't talk to your child that way, why would you talk to yourself that way? If you talk to yourself at all, if there is anything that you say to yourself that you would not say to your own child, that is a lack of self-love. And that is not a practice of self-compassion. Self-compassion isn't woo-woo. It's a practice. You need to have the resilience to keep practicing it in hard times. You need to have the discipline to practice self-compassion when it's not convenient. You need to have the consistency to keep practicing self-compassion when life tries to take control of you and other people try to take control of you. I really struggle with self-hate as a woman in my 40s. Thank you for your honesty. Self-hate is a practice, but so is self-love. Start every day. If it's been an ongoing thing for many, many years and you hate yourself, you're never going to change that in 10 days. But if you practiced one thing that was the opposite of self-hate for 90 days, 100 days, anything we practice, we get good at. And there's 3 steps to mastering anything in your life. If you want to master self-love, find an idea or a concept that you can lock onto, like meditation. First 3 stages of mastery is idea, practice, identity. The unfortunate thing is most people are lazy. They want to go from the idea, oh, I would like to meditate. And then they want to become a meditator. They want to feel the benefits of living in equanimity and peace and calm and self-love. But you can't go from the idea to identity. That's impossible. You have to go through practice. And if you've been practicing self-hate for 5, 10, 15, 20, 30, 40 years, people that think, oh, I should meditate for 5 days or 10 days and I should feel the benefits, that is just fucking crazy. Like, if you're lucky enough to experience the benefits, amazing, amazing, amazing. But at least if you love yourself enough, at least give yourself 3 months to lock into something that's not already a part of your identity. This is when I mentor people, my programs, the times that I lock in people for one-to-one, the minimum is 3 months. because you need to at least give yourself a time period to lock into the new thing that you're trying to make a part of your identity. Once again, you can't go from idea to identity. This is who I now am without practice. You have to practice it. So to come back to TikTok D, find something that is an expression of self-love and lock that in for 90 days, 100 days. If you don't do that, it's for two reasons. One, you don't want it enough, or two, you don't have accountability, or three, both. So that is what I've done for 20 years of my life. I hold people accountable and I put them in an environment, either working privately with me or working in one of my communities like Spiritual Gym or coming on my retreats in Thailand. I put people in an environment for them to want it enough, for them to want to make the change, for them to understand the pain of keep living the way they've been living and the pleasure, the inspiration for making a change now, and then hold them accountable. That's what I would say on that. I'm just coming back to the chat. Self-compassion is a practice. Absolutely. You don't namaste or woo-saw your way to self-compassion. Self-compassion is a strength because what is, once again, to come back to empathy, empathy is feeling, understanding without judgment. Compassion is saying, what am I going to do about it? What am I going to do to improve this person's life or my person's life, or to improve this situation that I feel empathetic about? This situation that I feel for, what am I going to do about that? That's compassion. And if you live in self-compassion, it means anytime, if you're a self-compassionate practicing person, it means that anytime you can identify fear, shame, guilt, lack, scarcity, things out of alignment, as soon as you can identify things that aren't serving you, people that aren't serving you, success versus fulfillment, things that rob your peace, and people that rob your energy. If you're living in self-compassion, anytime you identify these things, you'll be like, nope, 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 I'm going to change that. 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 Because that's what self-compassion is. It's action. Self-compassion is a doing word. You can't sit there and practice compassion. I'm just reading the comments. Rowan, play some more music. I will do, brother. I will do. I'm hopefully going to be going live all year, as in every day. And I've been producing my own music with my own lyrics with the help of my good friend AI. I wanted to be a music producer. Quick side note. I wanted to be a music producer when I was in my teens and early 20s. And I bought everything. I bought the keyboard, I bought the speakers, I built a small studio, I bought Cubase, I bought Fruity Loops, all the software, and I just couldn't get myself to do it. Here's why. I'm the most fucking, oh my God. When it comes to technology, I'm just the worst person. I have not used an Excel spreadsheet in all of my life. I remember opening a Hotmail account when I was 18 years old. My first ever email. I remember thinking, creating the email, I don't like this. I'll never forget that. I was in a relationship with a girl named Claire in an area called Goodwood in Cape Town. And I was sitting at her desk in the spare room of her parents' house. And she was setting up my Hotmail account for me. And I remember thinking, I don't like this. Anyway, I have a MacBook. I have two, and I use it for Zoom and Google Meet and streaming. That's it. I can't even remember how the hell I got onto that conversation anyway. So anyway, let me link it back to self-compassion. I don't do shit on computers because I love myself enough. Why? Being compassionate towards yourself, you wouldn't do shit that causes you suffering. Yesterday, I shared that I had a coaching contract in the UK, 6 figures, about 7 years ago. They said that we want you to fill in a self-compassion, Freudian slip. We want you to fill in the Excel spreadsheet at the end of every week. I said, not a fuck. I'm not doing that. That's going to cause me stress and anxiety. I've avoided Excel spreadsheets my entire life. Now I've built up a career to be charging $250,000 a year to work with me, as a coach in your business, and you're telling me how I need to do my business. I'm not doing that. Self-compassion is, I don't drink alcohol. I used to drink because I copied everyone else. Until I kept going less and less and less and less and less and less. And unfortunately, when I was living in the UK, I was in a lifestyle and in a marriage and an environment and in circles that still partied. And the only way for me to get away from that was I needed to remove myself completely. I'll tell you, one of the things, it's not the reason I moved to Thailand. It's not the reason why I set up my company in Dubai. But one of the things I did think when I made that move after my divorce and leaving England was getting away from party, drugs, and alcohol. And I was so excited for that because I love myself enough. Like, I don't want to do those things, but it's easy to do the wrong things in the wrong environments. Let me say that again. Don't judge yourself. Judging yourself is not being compassionate towards yourself. Understanding why you behave the way you behave. Understanding why you think the way you think, understanding why you act and react the way you act and react. That is compassionate. And then doing something about it. How can I improve this so that I don't do it again? So that I don't feel this pain or suffering, i.e. regret, shame, or guilt. That is self-compassion. And for a long time in my 30s, I used to drink still on weekends or every other weekend or every few weekends. And it got to a point where probably around 30, 31, I would go run a 10K or a half marathon the next day because I so much wanted that. I loved myself enough to not feel the feeling of alcohol in my body. I would go try to run it out of my body. And I remember people would say, if we were away at like English weddings or whatever, like everyone knew JP is going to get up 5, 6, 7 a.m. whatever time we wake up from partying all night, 8 a.m., whatever, he's going to go fucking running. And the run wasn't about the run. It was about what he represented. It was about me loving myself to get myself out of that feeling and bring myself back to health. I just wanted to get back to health as quickly as possible. I've never heard that before. Thank you. How do you do an identity part? Sorry, I think I'm reading old comments. Love yourself enough. Make that the hashtag for your 2026. How do we join your community? It's on School. If you know the app called School, it's a community app where many people have their own communities. So if you go to School, SKOOL, and just type in spiritual gym, that's my community. And we have different levels. You have the community level. You have personal development calls with me every Saturday. You have coaching and mentoring calls with me every Friday. But it starts from as little as $9 a month. And you can be in a community of fucking amazing people. Like, we have a WhatsApp group. We have a classroom with all the courses and workshops and all that stuff I used to sell. It's all in there for free. I don't sell anything anymore. I have a community. Right? I just have proximity. That's what I have. If you want to learn from me in a community, I have a community. I have levels within that community. If you want to learn from me privately, I mentor people privately. If you want to learn from me from a stage or have me speak at your company, but I can do that. I speak mostly in Dubai. But that's what I'm selling, is I'm selling proximity to me, which comes with truth and accountability, and with my community. Some of my community have done some of my courses and stuff that I used to sell. They've done it 4, 5, 6 times because they find it so powerful. Some of my community in my spiritual gym in the School app, They've been with me for 6, 7, 8 years, 9 years even. And they're not there for me. Yes, I share some new stuff to them, but they're there for self-compassion. They're there because they love themselves enough to know that this isn't fucking it, that there's more to my life. Ashwin, do you follow Buddhism? Yes, I was actually a Buddhist monk for a short time, only a month, but I study Buddhism by philosophy, not as a religion. I love Buddhism because there is no God. Buddha taught that there is no God that will save you. I also love Islam. I also love Taoism. I also love Hare Krishna. I also love learning from Christianity, even though I was born into Christianity and then got told that there's this God that if you don't do what he says, he will burn you in hellfire. And I disagree with that and I left, but there's still a lot of beautiful things in Christianity. There's so much beauty in all religions. The most important thing is people are so separated by religion, but the common denominator is love. That's what links religions together, at least the world's most popular religions. We are separated by religion, but how we unify through religion is understanding that religion is about faith and love. Everyone in the world needs faith and love. If you take your, how do I say this without getting blocked? If you unalive yourself, if you take your own life, it's because you lack faith. Another word for that would be hope. And you lack love. You lack compassion. And this is why faith is so important. If your faith is Christianity, go for it. Buddhism, go for it. Krishna, Hare Krishna, go for it. Islam, go for it. Go for the right reasons, because every human being needs faith and love. Without faith and love, we suffer. Prayers heal, absolutely. Ashwin, you're welcome. Oopsie. You're absolutely right. I lost the ability to walk. I'm in a wheelchair. And indeed, you're right. The way you talk and treat yourself matters. Alhamdulillah. I love myself and I'm so confident and proud. Yes, it hurts not to be able to walk. I'm going to say this with the utmost respect. Thank you for your beautiful, beautiful message. And also the follow-up saying that you are at peace. Peace is a choice. You know, Mother Teresa used to say that I will never attend an anti-war rally. But if you have a pro-peace rally, I will be there 100%. Because she understood the power of vibration, the power of language, the power of words, the power of intention. And Samira, I say this with the utmost respect because I don't want to make light of your situation being in a wheelchair. But since I was very young, I've just always had the attitude and the mindset that you choose the quality of your life through your thoughts. I started working at the age of 10 because I knew I had a choice. I could give the deal, accept the life I was given, or I can make my life better. And that's what I've been doing my entire life, even now at 44. And I remember being in my 20s and thinking this for the first time. Because people start thinking like, oh, it's easy for you to say you live in central London, you're making good money. At the time I was living in London, you're good looking, even if I say so myself, etc., etc., etc. And I just thought, okay, that's a fair comment. But I thought, imagine if life was unfair to me. And I gave myself the example of having my legs taken away because I've been in sport my whole life. That's been my identity. After this, I'm going straight to the gym and I cannot wait. I love sport. I love fitness. And I thought if someone took my legs away, where would my mindset be at? And yes, of course, Samira, there would be pain in the adjustment, etc. But for years, I've always thought the same thing. Take my legs away and I will take up wheelchair basketball. That's been my thought for 30 years. I'll become a world champion in wheelchair basketball. Or I will, there's a challenge in the UK called the end-to-end challenge. where you go from the top of the United Kingdom to the bottom. I'll do it in a fucking wheelchair. I'll raise money for charity. And that's just one example. So I'm glad that you have that attitude. I'm sorry for the situation that you're in and that you lost your ability to walk, but you didn't lose your ability to dream. You didn't lose your ability to have a vision. You didn't lose your ability to practice self-compassion. And maybe your ability to walk was taken from you so that you could be a servant towards other people and show them that it's okay and that you can still live in peace. The question is, what are you doing with that thing that happened not to you, but for you? You know, I was in a near-death collision 6 years ago that I don't remember, but I was hit head-on by a car, drunk driver, hit and run, left for dead on the side of the road. Found on the side of the road, wedged between a barrier and a tree, hanging off the side of this mountain, with my legs wrapped behind me, multiple fractures, punctured lung, heart trauma. I've got scars all over my body, internal surgeries. That didn't happen to me. When I finally realized in intensive care, when I came fully conscious and I could actually understand what had happened to me, it was day 10, day 11. And I remember thinking, looking at the ceiling in my intensive care room in the hospital, I remember thinking, wow, what a gift. What a gift. Because imagine if I can turn this into the greatest comeback story. Imagine if I can show people that from this pain, I will become even more powerful. Then it removes anyone else's excuses that what happened to them has to define the rest of their life. I wouldn't be the man I am today. I wouldn't live so presently. I wouldn't live so courageously. I wouldn't be so clearly determined to go after what I want. I wouldn't have been so focused on becoming a father and a good father. I wouldn't have been teaching what I'm teaching about today. I wouldn't, oopsie. Oh, and you're back in the room. 1, 2, 3, back in the room. I wouldn't have become a Buddhist monk. I wouldn't have moved to Thailand. I probably wouldn't have done a professional Muay Thai boxing fight in a stadium with 500 people and won a stadium championship belt that's sitting right over there at the age of 42. When a lot of people were laughing at me thinking, what the fuck is he doing? He's in his 40s. I wouldn't have done a lot of that stuff if it wasn't for the collision. Your pain is your power. That is self-compassion. Understanding that everything, it's a practice, it's a choice. Understanding that everything that's happened to you, mashallah, is happening for you. Every single thing that's happening to you is happening for you. And nothing has killed you because you're still here. Exactly. Never give up. Never think less of yourself. Yeah, unfortunately we do, you know. Unfortunately we do. But I didn't choose a job in finance. I didn't choose a job in sales. I didn't choose a job as an employee in accounting. I chose this mission to make sure that I can help as many people not think less of themselves. But let me tell you, my friends, I'm always my first client. Because as you move into new levels, with new levels comes new devils. And I've already exceeded what was expected from me. My goal in life, taught unconsciously by my parents, was get a job and survive. Eric, good to see you. Have you ever been to Rayong? I don't even know what that is or where that is, so my answer is no. Educate me, please. Nice to have the US here. Why does it happen, Leon? Why does what happen? Anyway, I forgot what I was talking about now. But I need to go to the gym, which is a practice of self-compassion. Eating well is a practice of self-compassion. Asking for help. Asking for help. Putting up your hand and saying, I need your help. I'm going through a tough time. That is a practice of self-compassion. Once again, circling back, Self-compassion is wanting to do something about the suffering that you're observing. Eric, a Thailand coastal town. No, I've never been there. I've never even heard of that. Hai Rong. Ray Yong. My apologies. My dyslexia kicking in. Leon, what you were talking about life. Sorry, man. I've been talking about so many things. A lot of it is sometimes is channeled. I don't know where it comes from. I can't go back and repeat it. If you're more specific. Sorry, Leon. The devil always gives you a hard time. When I'm up there, it tries to take you down. The devil always gives me a hard time. When I'm up there, it tries to take me down. This is because the most powerful driving force in the world, Leon, is to stay consistent with who we believe we are. If you believe you're a piece of shit, but you try to change your life, but that belief is so deep rooted in you from a child that when you get to the point that your life equals not being that, like let's say you have this deep rooted belief that you're a piece of shit, but you work so hard on yourself to get to a point that you feel worthy. But if the belief that's been keeping you stuck isn't in alignment with feeling worthy, it tries to pull you back. Because the most powerful driving force in the world is to stay consistent with who you believe you are. That's always going to pull you back, your identity. Always. If your identity is, my life sucks, it doesn't matter how hard you work on yourself, you will always come back to what's called your thermostat. Right? Your thermostat is your belief about what you believe about yourself, others, and the world. Your thermostat is your self-love, how much you love yourself or how much you don't love yourself. And if you have a thermostat or a temperature gauge in your car or in the house, you can open the window or do exercise and make it hotter. But as your set point, once you stop being in action, stop working, stop hustling, stop exercising, etc., the set point is always the temperature that you have set for yourself. And that is your beliefs and your identity. How you change your identity is through your thoughts, your habits, and your environment. And that's why I've dedicated my life to that. I have environments, either private with clients. I have environments, my retreats, my 7-day retreats in Thailand. I have environments, my online communities where we meet every single week on Google Meet, because this is how I know you create a new identity, through environment. Everyone I speak to, I talk to about habits and treating every single day as a life. You can't control tomorrow, next week, next month, next year. The only thing you have control over and influence of is today, 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 today. So stop giving yourself such a fucking hard time and just do your best today. You cannot change 3 months from now. Just do your best today. How do you do that? Habits. In my world, it's called your 10 non-negotiables, your daily commandments, your non-negotiables. And also how you keep the devil at bay is by being a person of purpose. When you are not living in passion, when you're not living in purpose, as in you know what your values are, you know what your vision is, you know what your mission is, this is when the devil creeps in. Because a man and woman's passion is found in purpose. What does my life represent? What does this day represent? What does my work life represent? What does hustling for my family represent? Or what does my hustling represent? Like if you know you're hustling for your family and you remind yourself of that, you have a little less pain and suffering, a little less of the devil creep in. You're willing to push yourself further. James, pretty girls are a distraction. How do you keep razor focus? So many Asian beauties. Okay, great question. I live in Asia. I live in Thailand. Lots and lots and lots of very beautiful women. Pretty good. James says, pretty girls are a distraction. How do you keep razor focus with so many Asian beauties in Thailand? Number one, I've always been a relationship person. That's just who I am. Other than my little DJ stint when I was trying to find happiness and success in approval and acceptance and validation from the outside, where I did everything from sleep with one friend and then take her home and then sleep with the other friend, or having a threesome in the W Hotel in London. That was a very, very short period of my life. But for the rest of my life, I've always been a relationship person. I don't like giving energy to other people where there's not a fair value exchange. This is why I don't work with people that I don't enjoy working with. My clients have to inspire me. Even in my communities, if someone is negative, I remove them. And I just don't like giving energy where I don't get good energy back. And it's a lot of hard work. It's really a lot of hard work chatting to people. I'm not a small talk person. You want to talk to me about self-compassion? You want to talk to me about personal development, self-enrichment, personal growth, business growth, overcoming trauma? You want to talk to me about my stories of becoming a Buddhist monk or surviving a near-death accident? Like, I like talking about deep, meaningful shit. Small talk, I fucking hate it. Let me tell you, when I lived in the UK and I would go out, a lot of the time I'd do cocaine with my friends. Why? Because the small talk bored me to shit. So I needed to numb myself out. And I've never been a big drinker. So I've never been. I thought I was saying I've hardly ever been a big drinker. No, I've never been a big drinker. Like 5 drinks when I used to drink, 6 drinks, 7 drinks, like, and I just needed to numb myself out. I can't deal with small talk. I just find it useless. And you can say that's insensitive. You can say that's not compassionate. I just know what I stand for in my life, and I'm mission driven. And I remember getting to London when I was early 20s, moving to the UK from Cape Town, South Africa. And I remember watching people sit in a pub and drink. And I thought, what's the fucking point of this? But I understand that's not a judgment. It's beautiful to see that people find a lot of joy in that. They really find a lot of joy in just hanging out. I still, to this day, I watch people hanging out over like barbecues and stuff and just chatting. I just find that very difficult. I find that very, very difficult. Have done my whole life. So that's number one. I've always been a relationship person, James. That's how I avoid distraction. Number 2 is I love myself enough. I don't give my energy to people that don't deserve it. I just love myself too much. When you love yourself enough, you do not give your energy to people that don't deserve your energy. When you love yourself enough, you don't give your time to people that don't deserve your time. When you love yourself enough, you don't give your space to people that don't deserve your space. Someone just commented, "What the fuck happened to this idiot's face?" Wow, talking about judgment and suffering. Let him keep being in his suffering. People that speak like that, everyone, across multiple platforms that are watching this, people that speak like that have deep suffering, deep, deep suffering. F.I. Fox, my husband has too much joy in the pub. I have respect for people like that. You know, I know people like that in my life that they just find joy in just someone in my family. I don't want to say who. Multiple people in my family. That's their mission in life, is to just have fun. Work enough to get your bills paid and have fun. That's just not why I'm here. Let's see the hater commenting again. Did you allow a retard to draw on your face for reparations for colonization? No, my daughter drew on my face. My daughter drew on my face. She's 2 years old. Does it make you happy? Does it make you feel a little bit better about yourself? You've come here to pour hate onto someone, knowing that I'm agreeing with you, that I have an idiotic face. Oh, and now you're calling my daughter retarded. Oh, that you can call me whatever you want. If you disrespect people in my life, you're gone. I don't even know how to remove this idiot. Anyway, let's just keep him there. Let's just keep the comments coming. Oh, TikTok is so sensitive. Please make videos about Buddhas. Please make videos about Buddhist temples. Oh, that's a good one, actually. I have a Buddhist temple just near my house that I bring people to on my retreats. Give me ideas like that of what you want me to do. What's it called? IRL, in real life videos. Anyway, so the point is, yeah, I don't like small talk. And I also don't accept any negativity in my life. I don't have anyone that's negative in my life. I think you can remove him, John. I can't be asked to even figure it out. Just let him have his fun. Some people just they have no happiness in their life and no joy in their life, and because happiness and joy is a psychological need, you need to feel happy. You need to feel okay, even in your life. And if you don't know how to feel okay, you will go online and you will find a way to feel okay. So let this person just survive another day by pouring hate onto someone that he doesn't know. David, Britain for British. Okay, don't know what you mean by that. Britain for British. Let's see if we have any more comments here. Thanks for the love. Aiden, you lived in Belfast. I lived in Northern Ireland for a bit, but not in Belfast. I lived on Strangford Lough. I had a beautiful house on the loch or the lake. For anyone that doesn't know what a loch is, uh, I had a beautiful house, country house. At one stage, we had many horses. I used to run on the lake every day, but then my speaking career just went poof, and it was too far from an international airport for me. But yes, I lived in Northern Ireland. Northern Ireland. Thanks. What about it is maybe the people around me, they pull me down. Um, people around you, like this person that I'm just referring to, people around you will either pull you down or pull you up. You've just got to become conscious of what those people are doing in your life. Are they a radiator pouring into your life, or are they a drain taking your energy? Once you become conscious of that and you do the work to become conscious of that through meditation, reflection, self compassion, to give yourself enough to actually observe your life and your relationships in your life, now you've got to go to work. Once again, compassion is a muscle that you build, and you've got to go to work, and you've got to make the changes that you need to make. Aurora, very smart man. But I just don't allow people in my life that have, I'm not saying I don't allow people to be negative, right? You should try and help people. That's compassion, is helping people out of pain and suffering. But if people are more in love with that story than trying to change, get them out. Lush, what's it like in Ireland these days? No idea. If you mean Republic of Ireland, never lived there. Northern Ireland, haven't been there in years. So to come back to self-compassion, if you want to have a really powerful year in 2026, develop your self-compassion muscle. To be very clear, once again, that self-compassion is an empathy. Empathy is feeling sorry for, or that sympathy, actually, empathy is feeling. I feel that person's pain. I feel that person's suffering. I feel that person, I understand where they're at. But that doesn't change shit. It doesn't change anything. Compassion is where everything changes. People come to me because they have a level of self-compassion that says, this is not enough. There's more to my life. Liam, can I ask you something, please? First of all, that's very respectful, asking if you can ask something. And yes, absolutely. Let's hope it's a genuine question from Liam. I hope I'm saying your name correctly as well. NRY96, thank you. This is what we need to hear and watch. Appreciate you. If you want to have a powerful 2026, develop your self-compassion muscles. Going to the gym is not about going to the gym. It's about loving yourself enough. Meditating is not about sitting there with your legs crossed going hamana, hamana, hamana. It's about loving yourself enough to give yourself time to sit with yourself. Having a healthy meal is not about the calories. It's about a vote for yourself. I believe in myself, and I believe that I deserve to have health, energy, vitality. Taking time out to do nothing is not about being lazy. It's about having the self-compassion to give yourself permission to just stop. You're a human being, not a human doing. If you had lived your life like you'd already arrived at the ultimate destination, You've already arrived at the ultimate destination in life. Like you've exceeded your own expectations. You've made it, whatever that looks like to you. Would you be living your life the way you are? Would you be feeling the stress that you're feeling? Would you be accommodating and accepting the anxiety that's running through your mind? Liam, I know you are not a travel agent. Could you give me some advice on how I can move to where you live? Yeah, thank you. That's very respectful. First of all, you asked the question. Second of all, you said, I respect you. You're not a travel agent. And I don't have the best advice for this. ChatGPT would be way better than me. But my advice would be, not my advice, my opinion, is how do you move to where I live, which is Thailand? Let me just do the security check quickly. Why is it doing that? Sorry, I'm getting one of those things on the screen. Three, two, and one. And we're back. Oh, don't inbox me. I'll just be really honest. I get too many messages. I'll just tell you here. Not my advice. My opinion on how to move to Thailand is just do it. Just do it. I would say that 95% of people don't need a visa to come here. Just come here. Book a flight, come here, and then when you're here, work on your plan. Have conversations, network, connect, look at different opportunities. Depending on where you are in your life. Yeah, Leon, I'll just be really honest, man. You could do a deep dive on ChatGPT and it will tell you everything. It will say, tell me your age, tell me your situation in life, tell me what's your finances, etc., your financial situation. And it will tell you, based on everything you've shared with me, this is the best thing that we recommend for you to move to Thailand. But my opinion would be, not advice, would be book a flight and just come here. Because then you can make decisions when you're here. Also, why this is important, in my opinion, is you should always look to make decisions in life when you are in the highest vibration. And Thailand just puts you in a very, very high vibration. I often say to people, go from a place like England. Maybe you're stressed, overworked, overwhelmed. Book a flight to Dubai. Land in Dubai for 24 hours. And I promise you, whatever goals you set at London Heathrow Airport, 24 hours, there'll be different goals. Why? Because the environment is different. And the reason why I've run 7-day retreats in Thailand for so many years is because when I bring people to Thailand and they get to experience my life and my habits and my rituals and my lifestyle and spend time with me for 7 days, their goals change. So I would say first get to Thailand and at the same time, use ChatGPT. I'm a qualified electrician and need a job. That's going to be very difficult. It's going to be very difficult because even if you manage to get, the only option there would be a work visa or like a non-B business visa, which gives you a work permit, which allows you to work in Thailand, but you're competing with people from Thailand and countries like Myanmar. I mean, if you're lucky enough as an electrician, you might make island. I'm not talking about cities here, like Bangkok. On an island, you might make competing with Thais and people from Myanmar. I don't know. At most, you'll maybe make £700 a month or something. It's just not possible. The alternative would be start an online business, or like many people do, they accept that that's the way it is, and they have a skill, and they do 6 months in the UK or 6 months in Germany or 6 months in Canada, and then they live another 6 months in Thailand. But yeah, once again, I would do ChatGPT. Hey Jean, hey Bobby Com, NY96. If I may ask you a question, nowadays people to use AI for life advice. What are the negatives? The negatives, I would say there's not many. I'll be really honest about something, okay? I became very successful very quickly as a private coach, mentor, a high performance coach. And I used to charge up to, for a normal contract. I did like bespoke stuff for people that were unique to them, and we agreed a price. But my programs for a year got up to £35,000. So I think that's about $45,000. Now, what were my clients paying for? They were paying for my energy, my truth, my accountability, but also a lot, largely because of knowledge and competence. They're paying for my knowledge and competence. Now, knowledge and competence is free. So when ChatGPT started to come out 2.5 years ago, whenever it was, my business fucking suffered. And I didn't have the business model of selling, cheap courses and programs and doing ads. I've never run an ad in my life. I just relied on that. And it got very, very, very difficult, to a point that I changed the way I do private mentorship in a way that I give less of my time, and a way that I can cut the investment down into half, because people will still pay me for my energy, my truth, my accountability. Like my clients now, they just know, like, JP is not going to give you cookie cutter shit. He's going to tell you the truth. He's going to hold you accountable. He's going to remind you who the fuck you are when it matters. But knowledge and competence is now free. So I think that's incredible. And I leverage AI. We leverage ChatGPT in my business every single day. The only downside I would say for now is that it stops you from having real human connections, which comes with intuition, which comes with deep wisdom, which comes from relational experience, or relational knowledge. People can share things with you basically because they grew up with you. But also, I would say a negative thing is people believe it to be true, whatever it says, when most of the time it's only mirroring back whatever you've told it. So there's actually a prompt now that's quite well known, where you basically say to ChatGPT, in all future answers, do not agree with me for the sake of agreeing with me, or something like that. So you have to be careful. If you feed it a story, or you feed it stories for a year, then the answers it's giving you is a version of the truth, but it's a version of the truth that matches your own story. And that comes also with your fears and limitations and doubts, etc., etc. So you got to be careful with that. Thank you. You agree. Thank you so much for your advice. Are you in Bangkok? No, I'm in Phuket, Thailand. All right, that's it. All right, guys, that's my live stream for today. I love and appreciate you all. Practice self-compassion. And if you're doing it alone, you're doing it wrong. Have someone to be tethered to. Have someone to support to. Have someone to ask for help. Have someone to share your wins, share your struggles, share your challenges. If you need my help, get in touch. If not, just find a way. But stay strong, keep moving, and never fucking settle. Because when, not if, when you bring yourself home to how you were brought up into this, or you were brought into this world, which was you are love. You are not detached from love. You are love. But we lose ourselves. We have to bring ourselves back home. And when you do that, you would never, ever settle. So anywhere that you compromise in your life, anywhere that you are not loving towards yourself, anywhere that you feel regret, shame, guilt, fear, lack, scarcity, those are the guides, my friend. That's where you need to work on yourself. Peace and love. See you tomorrow.